Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 35 of Stronghold SHX, the road to $3.33 with myself, CryptoBanker SHX. I hope you're well. I'm sure you are. It is August the 22nd. Before we dive into today's episode, I have to spell it out for people. YouTube insists on it. I am not a financial advisor, and nothing I ever say or do should be taken as financial advice. Now, looking at SHX on the daily, we've seen nearly a 10% decrease in the price. We've also seen an uptick of 13% on the volume, currently sat at $2.87 million. I see a couple of people getting frustrated given the fact that SHX is just listed on LCX today with a euro pair, and given that LCX is probably one of the best exchanges, especially when it comes to regulatory and compliance qualifications. It's very impressive that SHX has been listed on there first. I think it's a statement in relation to how well SHX fits those compliance and regulatory frameworks which are being adapted and being brought to life across the globe for the adoption of blockchain and this new Web3 technology. But I think that some people need to recognize that actually, regardless of how bullish an asset is, and regardless of what's going on in the background, one, price makes narrative, and two, nothing ever goes up in a straight line as much as you want it to. There's always going to be corrections. If you go back to previous bull runs, there's been sort of 20-30% pullbacks on BTC as it's gone up, which obviously drags the market down as well. But that's what happens in a bull run. That's just is natural behavior of these markets and assets. Now here, if we look towards the community chart nerd here, please do give him a follow. Great guy. If you don't already, he's saying that potentially we have a wave count, and this is his thought experiment, to 10 cent. Now he's saying that we might experience this, which would then take us to around Christmas time for a 10.5 cent SHX. Now, I suppose if nothing happens, and say, for example, they're just aligning these exchanges to then go live maybe next year, right? Then that would be a fairly sensible estimation if everything just stays the same, I think. Here we have Daniello, and they're saying that SHX could potentially hit all-time highs and go to $1 billion in market cap. This would be around sort of the September time. So around sort of September the 17th, maybe the 13th, something like that, where we would actually see it break above 6.7 cent. Now, the 6.7% is probably more realistic than the other all-time highs that I've seen quoted. That's really why I say that once it gets past 8 cent, is the only time I would feel confident in which SHX has reached an all-time high and then is in price discovery. But these things just keep happening on chain. Like, you shouldn't be anything other than bullish on SHX and Stronghold Net and Stronghold as a business. Like, the things they're doing in the background, they're liquidity building. So this from Stronghold through to a certain wallet and then off to crypto.com, you can see that they're sending nearly $250,000 to crypto.com, building those liquidity pools. And that would only really indicate one thing, that you are going to see it being listed on major exchanges. And I think it's just a matter of a when, not an if, right? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but it's kind of screaming it now. It's just a case of how long it takes for people to figure it out. And this is an important point because I know people and speak to people who are highly regarded within this industry, and rightly so, and have major qualifications in blockchain and blockchain adoption. They've been in this industry for pretty much coming up to decades, right? And I'm yet to see one of them understand or realize SHX and Stronghold Net. Now, these people are maxis, and they're usually maxis. One of them is a maxi within Solana, right? And I fully respect all of their work. They are one of the most accurate people you could ever speak to in regards to this technology, but they completely miss the point on Stronghold Net and SHX. They're completely missing it. And that's what's going to be interesting, because when these people wake up, they're going to be actually educated in regards to this technology and this project, which will be an amazing thing to witness, because then do they start to pivot bullish? I mean, if that happens and you start to see maxes within L1s start to pivot bullish towards SHX, which obviously isn't an L1, it's built on Stellar, but at the same time, the interoperability piece of Stronghold Net means that it can interact with pretty much anything of value. So, like I say, it's going to be extremely interesting towards the end of this year, especially going into next. And the reason why I say this is because even people within this community still, people who are invested in SHX still don't fully realize what it is, right? There's quite a few people who don't even understand what the correct market cap is or what the correct circulating supply is of this asset. But know this, that it is essentially the fuel and the liquidity piece of a next generation financial marketplace, which is Stronghold Net. Stronghold, like I've always said, they're a new era of bank. Now, what's going to be held securely on Stronghold Net? I would speculate that it will be stocks, real estate. It will actually be a crypto exchange. It will have a variety, an array of payment options through various different assets, but all honing back in on the utility of SHX and real world assets there, powered also by DeFi. It's effectively all of the money. And if you understand what's happening in the US with regulators and what they're talking about currently, there is every chance that when they tweak these regulations and allow this type of activity to happen in a regulated, legal way, that you might see probably companies IPO on Stronghold Net. Now, that would be a new vehicle for companies to raise funds and IPO versus the traditional method of being on the stock market and going through that process. But one thing is for sure, that SHX will be at the epicenter of the new financial system. And it's going to be really interesting in the build up to 2030 of how far Stronghold take it. I think they're going to take it all the way. And I think they already have. If this happens, billions of volume will go through Stronghold Net on a daily basis, if not hundreds of billions, if not eventually trillions. In 2050, there'd be trillions going through this. And still, we're at a stage where most are asleep. Now, to end the show, a massive thank you. Currently, over the last 7 days, averaging around 2,000 views an episode. And we're growing week by week. So for a show that's 6 days a week about a non-mainstream project, it's nearly mainstream, but not yet. That's really solid. And it wouldn't happen without you guys watching and listening. So thank you for all your awesome support. Thank you for all your feedback. Thank you for all your comments, your shares, your likes. It's only going to get bigger. Please do share this. If you are interested and you are involved in SHX, please do share these episodes. Let's get as many eyes on SHX as possible, especially before it goes on its transition to becoming a top 20 and then a top 10 crypto. This is going to be something very, very special to witness. And like I say, without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you. I hope that you are going to enjoy wherever you are the rest of your Friday going into the weekend, and have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back tomorrow for episode 36, and I will catch you on the next one. Remain bullish. Try and just filter out the noise. Most people don't know what they're talking about. But SHX is setting itself up for a mammoth journey, a noticeable journey to the moon. I'll catch you on the next one tomorrow.